This workshop today, I'm giving a very abbreviated version of it. It's called Mobile E-Marketing, and the other part of it is location-based services, because they used to be separate things. Now they're all in one on your smartphone. So how many of you have a smartphone, a Samsung or an Apple? Wow, everyone does. I've been giving this workshop, you know how long I've been giving a similar workshop like this? Like 8 years. I started out with a GPS unit, a Garmin. My mom had given it to me, and I was cruising around. I had just started this job, and I was going, I think it was near Staples. And I'm like, okay, let's see. I had stopped. I'm like, okay, let's see what this thing can do. And I saw something called POIs, or points of interest. And I clicked on it. I was like, oh, you can see, hotels and schools and hospitals and coffee shops. That's really cool. Let's see what's around here, because I was thirsty for some coffee. And I typed in coffee, and blip, nothing was on there, even though I knew Staples had a nice coffee shop. So I'm like, what's going on? And so when I cruised around town in all these different towns in central Minnesota, I would hunt on there for points of interest, and very rarely would stuff come on from the rural areas. So that made me curious and started going in and seeing where is the data coming from. Because how many of you still use your Garmins or Magellans? How many of you used to use one? Okay, a few of you used to use one. Now they're basically, irrelevant now after you got your Samsung and iPhone. But the data on those things, it had a little hard drive or a drive on there, and the data used to reside on there. I find out that the data was coming from all kinds of different places, like Yellow Pages. It was coming from their own database. Some of it was coming from your county business directories. When you register your business, it would come on there. And not only that, the expensive devices used to have a lot more data than the older devices. So the expensive device would have like over 1 million points of interest on there. And the cheaper ones, like for $100, the one I had only had like 100,000 on there. For a nation, that's very little. But now that was kind of on the edge, and I kind of saw this is going to become very mainstream, so we started teaching it, and I think we've taught several thousand businesses across the state of Minnesota on this. But now if you're not on this map, on this Google map or on this Apple map or whatever, you're basically unseen, except to the locals that drive right past you. If someone's searching and going by and they want coffee and they're driving by Sauk Center and they don't see Jitters on there, it might as well not exist for them. The people in town know them, but they're missing this whole huge market share. So this is one of the things that this workshop will address. The other is, again, a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, people were asking, did you guys ever ask, do I need a web page? Was that one of the questions you had? So that was and now, do you need a web page? Yeah, absolutely. Then the new question, actually this is now an old question already, do you need a web page that is displayed on an iPhone or Android properly? Yes. So yes. So some of you are saying yes. Anyone say no? You don't need it? Well, I'll show you some data if you're on the fence and then on what it means to have a web page on there, what the data shows, and we'll talk about a few other points on here. So basically, we're going to talk about how to optimally, what the data behind mobile sites is, how to use Google Maps, not as a consumer, but as a business. How to use Google Maps and other location-based services. And the last one is promoting the destination image of your community. Because as a business, how many of you are from Sauk Center? How many of you are not from Sauk Center? Okay, you guys can leave. I'm kidding. But as a business community, you guys form the destination image. When people are coming here, they're searching for, if this is a destination for someone and they type in hotel and only 2 of the 4 show up on Google Maps, for instance, that gives them an image that this town doesn't have the amenities that it actually does. It starts forming this slowly, and it can lead to consequences on where people choose to stay or do business. So here's this thing. Now we're basically at 2015, and I've been giving this workshop since 2007. I've been adding these points. They get published every year. So now they don't bother, this was the last year they're going to publish them, because mobile handsets now have taken over desktops in terms of internet usage. And one of the new things is that This green bar shows mobile. This blue one shows your desktop, laptop. Guess where people overall are spending more of their time? They're spending more. Before it was, this one just shows, the number of searches and, the number of times you open up or go to different web pages, not necessarily time. We have more on mobile handsets. But this one is showing they're spending more time on their mobile handsets. I mean, it's kind of, some people call it, if you see a whole bunch of people looking at their iPhones, it kind of looks like there's something wrong with them. Everyone's staring at their screens. So there's a negative connotation to it as well. But as business people, one of the things is this is where people are finding you. This is where people are looking for information. This is where they're going to. This is the medium that they're using to go on your website. This is the medium that they're using to call you. So your website is less relevant now than your mobile website. How many of you have a mobile optimized website? 3 of you, wow. 4 of you. 4 of you have a mobile optimized website. And I'll tell you what that means in just a moment. The other things, what are they doing on their mobile handsets? They're texting, okay. Yeah, if you have kids, they're texting all the time, and most of us are now. Web browsing is the second one, and the other one we're going to go into, we did a class on social networking, and I don't need to talk about emailing, but we do. The second thing is location-based services. That means where I am right now or where I'm going, what is there to see and do? And people use different search terms to engage in that. So basically, mobile websites, and we're going to go into 3 things. There's 3 aspects that we're going to touch in here. Using responsive design. The second part is using analytics to determine the setup of your website. And the third is remembering that the first screen, you scroll through, what shows up first, that is the most important real estate. That determines what, the value is very high on that. Now I'm going to go deeper into all of that. So for instance, this is what responsive design does. If you take a site, and also I'll take questions as they come up, so feel free to disturb me or stop me as I'm going through. If you take a site like leechlake.com, okay, this is on my desktop. Same site, same address, this is on my iPad. Same site, this is what it looks like on my iPhone. That is responsive design. This is something, it's kind of built into most web developing platforms. If it's not, how many of your website was developed, let's say, 5 years ago? More than 5 years ago. Okay, more than 5 years ago. So if it's that old, sometimes, depends on what type of relationship you have with your web developer, to convert it. There's all the new packages for developing websites, you just basically click a checkbox and you make some few adjustments, and you can easily optimize your website to work on any platform. Because when we start building website, we just had this big screen. Mainly it was like about 12 inches. Those were the first monitors. Then we went widescreen, and then we went really small, and now we're going big again. So this type of design allows you to adapt to that. So this is one thing you have to communicate with your web developers. How many of you develop your own website? You manage your own website, one of you. So what do you use to run your website? What tool?
We just switched over. We're using just the Weebly.
Oh, Weebly. Mm-hmm. So the Weebly, did you know it has a mobile optimization feature? Yeah, so that one you just click and
you're ready to go.
Yep, it's ready to go. That's on Weebly. Anyone else develop their own website? So if you don't, then this is something, if you don't have it mobily optimized, this is something you can talk about with your web developer. Hey, say, Dan, is our website optimized for an iPhone? He says, no. Well, how do we get it there? Well, this is what you need to do. One thing you'll need to communicate to them, well, what are the things that are important that you want, how do you want your site kind of organized? What are the most important things that people are looking up? And I'll show you how you can do that. So this is called analytics-based design. Okay, we have another whole course on this one. Analytics-based design, this is a site, this is a live site. They get about 15,000 hits a month. This is basically that leechlake.com site. On this site, you can see where they're getting that traffic from. This is behind the scenes. They use Google Analytics. How many of you look at your analytics regularly? Okay. So what do you look for? Do you know, is there some particular things you're looking for in it?
Well, entrance points, where are they coming in?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the number of users, and what is the percentage of new visits versus return visits?
Very nice. And are you using it to make decisions in your marketing plan?
A little, not, I wouldn't say a lot,
Mm-hmm.
just more awareness than anything.
Okay. And how often do you look at it?
Once a month.
Okay, once a month. All right. And how about you?
Sounds the same, about once a month.
Once a month?
You're doing it more, but where people are coming in from.
Where people are, so where you're, so if they're coming from a search engine and stuff like that. Okay, I got it. All right, very good. So this screen is basically showing what medium that they're using. So you can see for this site, about 34% are using mobile already, and this is a little town, or this is Leech Lake, this is Walker. 34%. I looked it up for Detroit Lakes because we did a long class just recently, so I have access to their analytics. But I looked it up for Detroit Lakes. The majority of their visits are coming through a mobile handset. So, and both of these sites are mobile optimized. And even another 15% is coming through tablets. So if they didn't have their site mobily optimized, people would try to get into it, these numbers would be much lower. People would try to do it, they would get frustrated, and they would say, okay, I have to go onto my desktop to use this site. Or they might just avoid it altogether. So for this type of business, these types of numbers are very important. Same thing for your business. If you look behind the scenes, where are they coming from? And what do you think they could do on your site through the different platforms? So this is one aspect of this. Okay, they're coming through mobile. The other thing is when they're coming from mobile, this is something that you can really use to make decisions. So if they're coming through mobile, then the most popular site that they're using through mobile is the fishing report. So where should the fishing report be in the what does this tell a business? Where does this page need to be in the overall layout of the site? Front page. Front page. But guess what? On this one, I told them, hey, I can't even find this, and it's nowhere in the front page. You have to go through 3-4 links to get there. The second one is the home page. The home page isn't the main. People have bookmarked the fishing report and they go directly there. But it does tell them it's something important. It should be front and center. Second is the home page. And then third, fourth is ice fishing report again. So you can just basically add these numbers here. So this is by far the most important thing. And the fishing report is basically a blog. Some guy's writing, you guys have read the fishing reports, right? Who hasn't? Who hasn't? No, you all have? I would say that probably the men all have and the women haven't, right? That's how it's going to go.
Oh, that's good. You should go there.
So you go to and then the third really is the events. So this little piece of information tells you that the fishing report and the events should be well on top of your site. Often when you go to a mobile site, you have, as I showed you before, what's happening here? Is this important information? No, this big screen, right here, it could be much smaller. Even this right here, this intro. The main thing is, well, how do I get to where I need to get to? Because the mobile access is quick. Those numbers I showed you for how much time they're spending, that's not for digging around for information. Most of that time is spent on Facebook or texting or doing some type of chat on there. If they need to hunt around for information, that's not going to work. You need this. One thing they got going on this side is they got a good search feature on top and a good menu. But even that might suffice it. But that's something you can play around with it. Both can happen. But if this wasn't there and they just had this, and even these are new things, then you have to scroll around. Okay, where's everything on this side? You don't know. So you want to make things that you see on your analytics front and center. And what you can take from the desktop portion of this, again, events, resorts are top. That should also be front and center, and places to stay. Those are two things that would be very well near the top or very accessible from the home page or the desktop page on this. And these are just the top 10 pages people are going to. So if you look at some of these sites right here, you can tell, well, is this one mobile optimized? No, because you can barely read it. How about this one? How would you compare this one to this one? These two right here. Which one is better in terms of quickly accessing information?
The
Thief River Falls. Why? Yeah, the buttons are front and center. This is what you found here. There's no, no big explanation of how great a place it is. Chances are, if they're on your homepage, they already know it's a great place to be. So you want to give them this access. So this is something that you have to work with your web developer on, or you have to figure out how to do it yourself. Because even the automatic configuring features of a mobile website, they won't automatically give you these types of buttons. This is something the web developer has to do. But this is also responsive design. If I take and start expanding the window on this one, and you can do it on any website and see if it's mobile optimized, just take a window and then just drag it, shrink it, or make it small. And if it reformats itself according to the width of the screen, then it's a responsive design-based website. And if it doesn't, then it's your typical normal website. Typical website will, you'll just start covering up the information. So you can see these buttons are very important. Bemidji is also using a lot of buttons. Detroit Lakes is going to rely on the menu. Perham, what would you think if you went to the Perham site? Hmm? Well, what impression does it give you between these two? Boring. There's not much there, right? Yeah. So again, this thing kind of conveys, well, it's already conveying the richness of information in your business, or in this case, in the town here. Again, so these are the most common ways to do it, is using creatively buttons and visual-based themes to get people to navigate into your website. So this is something you have to think about your own business. So if you're, let's say if you're a towing company or a body service company, you can have pictures of the various things you offer, various services you provide, and you go in there and you can provide more information, a video of before and after things that you've done, maybe some tutorials. Usually when people see a tutorial of something, if it's complicated enough, they said, I don't want to do it, I'll leave it to a professional. Even though they might have this thing going on in their head that I can do it myself. So often tutorials help people come to your business because they're saying, hey, this is the expert that can help me out here. Going on, another thing you can do through mobile websites is minimize friction. So what do I mean by minimize friction? Is helping them buy stuff. So how many of you that have a mobile site are selling on their mobile sites? So what do you sell?
Hotels.
You sell hotels? Hotel rooms, okay. So you're from the American? Okay, cool. So you can buy, so now what it's doing is, let's say how many of you think it's too complicated to have those buy buttons on your website? Be honest, it can, because you got to set up the whole e-commerce store and the whole e-commerce background for those stores. Well, now what's happening is Facebook, Twitter, and even Google are allowing you to set up their stores right on the site. So if let's say you sell art, you sell t-shirts, you sell one-of-a-kind artwork, you can just tweet about it, set up your store on Twitter, and someone can buy that item right from Twitter or from Facebook. A lot of people are selling directly from Facebook. They might have a website just to show that they exist and provide more information and stuff like that. But Facebook is the main place where they're selling their merchandise. And of course, Google as well. You can set up a store in Google. So if you think e-commerce, how many of your websites are e-commerce based websites, as in you sell product from your website? So two of you sell product. How many of you would like to sell product from your website or services? Okay. So if you're going to sell them, and if you think it's too complicated or you want to try the social venue, these are some other ways just to minimize the friction, as in get people to buy. Just like the credit card has made it easier for us to buy things that we like. So now, any questions about mobile website design? I don't get too much into it. Go ahead.
Didn't Google recently change some things that if your site was not mobile optimized, that your ranking would go down in the rankings?
They're trying to take out the search results, I think is what it is. Anything that's not mobile friendly, they're taking those kind of results down the list. Because they want more mobile friendly stuff at the top of the list, because that's the first stuff people go to look at. Is the way I
So what they did is basically Google, again, Google is always tweaking their algorithm. So the algorithm, what you're saying is that if I'm doing a Google search on my mobile device, then it's gonna direct me towards sites that are mobilely optimized. Whereas if I'm doing it from the desktop, that algorithm necessarily doesn't play in. So that's the main thing. So Google's main purpose, or Bing's, or any of these search engines' main purpose is to return relevant results to the user. So part of relevancy is something that you can actually view. So if you're doing a search for something in Google in here, and you get a web page in the top 10 or in the top web page, you go to it and it's not optimized and you can't read anything, then it's really no good to you. Then you have to go to the second, third, fourth searches. Whereas if they optimize it, okay, well, Google is still on top of its game. So that's what's happening there. Good question. Other questions about mobilely optimized websites? How many of you are wanting to get your site mobilely optimized? And the ones who aren't, why not? No pressure, but just why not? I mean, really, I'm just trying to learn. Were you going to say something?
I said, I don't know if mine is. I think it is.
Okay. Well, what's your website?
What is it?
Yeah.
Gopher Prairie Inn.
Gopher Prairie Inn. Okay. So, anyone would care to share, or if it's something to think about, where so much traffic, and that this chart I showed at the beginning is just it's basically just gonna, where is it? This time that people are spending is just gonna get more. We can see the trend that it was 1.6 hours before, 2.3, 2.6, 2015, 2.8, and the one previously, we can see the trend. The trend in 2007, hardly anyone had a smartphone, and more people were using desktops. Well, internet usage is still increasing, but it's increasing much more for your handhelds, for your smartphones, than it is for PCs. A lot of millennials, when they were surveyed, they were saying that they're hoping everything can be done from smartphones and tablets. Let's get rid of the PC altogether. So you're seeing the generation behind you that's coming. They're eschewing your laptops and desktop computers. They're going smaller and smaller, something more mobile. And there's a lot of apps and other websites that are coming up that are tailoring themselves for this medium.
Gopher Prairie is mobile.
It is? Okay. All right.
Just checked it.
Good. So Gopher Prairie, you found out here. And you can find out. Just take your site, and if you don't have a smartphone, just take your site and make the screen thin, and you'll see it reorganizing itself. And if it's on a thin website window, if it looks different and looks neat, then your site is mobile optimized. But still, it helps to build that relationship with your web developer. They're one of your key marketing agents. So digital maps. Now let's say, okay, that's one part of this mobile environment. The other is all these apps that are out there that people are using, that they're not going to even go to your website. They're just going to go and find out about your business through Google, Yelp, or Apple, the Apple Maps. A few people are using Bing, Yahoo. Navtech I still have in there. This was Navtech and TeleAtlas. They were one of the key foundations of the GPS units, that they provided the base maps and the base data for them. But these got bought out by some of these companies, and they always buy and sell, so I don't know who owns what now. But Navtech originally got bought out by Google, and TeleAtlas had been bought out by Apple. That was a while ago, but I think different people own them now. So Google Maps. How many of you use Google Maps? Okay. How many use another map service?
I live by Google Maps, basically.
All right, you live by Google Maps. All right. Cool. How many of you use another service? What other service do you use?
Our scheduling program uses MapQuest.
Okay, MapQuest. All right. What else? Any other products? Yahoo. Okay. Bing. All right. Anyone use Yelp in here? You use Yelp. All right. So I'm gonna. They basically work the same way. I'm gonna go through Google here, and what we're gonna try to see is what's on there. And this is Sauk Center. The results for Sauk Center. So I did a search for restaurants near Sauk Center. I just type in restaurants and it fills it in when I centered around Sauk Center. And these are the first four ones that showed up in here. I can scroll through this until I find the one I like. So in this case, I scrolled through and I clicked on Jitters Cafe. So what do you think could be different about this page that I found when I clicked on Jitters Cafe here? You could have a picture of the storefront. Right now it's just using the default picture. The Google grabs the street view based on the address. What Google and all these services allow you to do is to basically claim your business listing. How many of you have claimed your business listing on Google Maps?
Yep.
Okay.
About 2 months.
About 10% of you got it about 2 months ago. So claiming means you can correct all this information. You can prevent anyone else from changing it. You'll get a notification every time your business gets reviewed. You can put a whole bunch of pictures up there. You can put videos up there. You can put a website here. Their website's not even in here. You can put all of that information, and not only that, they'll give you an analytics engine behind that to monitor how people are finding Google Maps for your business. That's just for claiming, and I'll go through how it does that. One of the most important things in this is in making a decision on what store to go to is the reviews. And there's another workshop on managing customer reviews, but the two main things people use in making that decision is the number of reviews and the overall rating. Number of reviews trumps overall rating, you know that? That's all what the research shows. Number of reviews and overall rating. So don't get obsessed by this stuff. A lot of businesses, they get obsessed by, what if I get a negative review, or what if someone makes a fraudulent review and stuff like that. Don't obsess over that. Obsess over providing good customer service and a good product. If you do that, those one-off reviews will become irrelevant. People look at this. Remember, people want to make quick decisions. Sometimes if it's a big investment, they'll obsess over the reviews. But again, this trumps how people are making their decision, the overall rating and the number of reviews. So how do you claim your business? It's very easy to do. Any of you can do it. You don't have to hire someone to do it. Sometimes a lot of businesses get called, hey, I can do this for $500. No, you can do this in 10 minutes, in 5 minutes even. You basically go to this site right here, and I'll email you guys the presentation along with the evaluation. But basically go to this page right here on your desktop or on your mobile phone, google.com/business, and basically then click on Get on Google. And they'll basically, the first thing they'll do, or the second thing they'll do, well, where's your business? Which business are you? So you type in your business name and address, and I'll put a pin drop there. And so for instance, in this case, I did Acme in, so copying Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner, the old Acme company. So, well, it doesn't exist, so that's why they probably use it. So I did Acme in. If it was one of these, I could click on this and start the claiming process. What Google does to avoid fraudulent claims, any of you have gone through the process? What does Google do to avoid the fraudulent claims?
It's been a while since I've done it, but they used to send out a postcard with a pin on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think now you can get them texted to you.
Okay, yeah, you can get. So basically, if it's already on there and this is the number, if it's already on there, they probably got it through one of the big business directories that are already out there, or the state business directory. That's why it's there. So if you're claiming it, two of the things they do to verify whether it's, whether you actually own or manage the business is they'll offer to send you a postcard at this address or call you at this number with a PIN number. If they call you at the number, you're going to get the call within a few seconds, really. And it'll be an automated call, and they'll have a PIN number. And you'll write down the PIN number, and there'll be a place in the form, in this form right here, where you can put that PIN number in. So in this case, Acme in, I put it in. It was none of these businesses. So I click Add Your Business, and then you get this form. If you clicked on an existing business, you would get a similar form, but the stuff would already be filled in. You go through this form. It's pretty easy, and it's true for MapQuest. It's true for Bing. It's true for Yahoo. It's true for Yelp. It's all of them. This is by far the easiest and most thorough business listing product out there. MapQuest, last I looked into, took about 4 months to turn things around. But I think the other ones are pretty quick. But Google is I think by far the most innovative in terms of search listing. So pretty easy. Fill out the form and submit it, and just choose if you want you want a call or do you want a text. Go ahead.
Question. Like the last few months or whatever at our business, we had actually people calling from Google to update the website or whatever, update location. Is that the same thing, or is that
Google?
me going in there and doing that, or?
I've never seen Google calling to do that. Usually some business that'll call to do.
I just actually asked our marketing company today, and he said that that's probably like a scam, like they're phishing.
Okay, because we didn't actually go through and do it. We just hang up or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a scam. I don't know if it's a scam, but I know Google doesn't do it.
Yeah, he
The-
said Google would be probably like a postcard. It wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be anybody calling.
They make it sound like you're going to be removed from Google if you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Then it's a scam. Yeah.
Get that twice a week.
Oh, twice a week.
Before those calls after we claimed our business.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's really confusing.
Oh, really?
I just claimed it. Why do you say I have to now?
Oh, they're saying it's probably he's saying he's getting more of those calls after he claimed it, but it's I don't know how they know. I don't know how they know, but it's probably I don't know. I don't get too much into it. But there's some other problems you can have. Sometimes you took over a business. Let's say you took over General Parts Group. Somebody else owned it before, and now you're taking it over, and it's already claimed. So what do? You don't have the password and stuff like that. So then you have to either work with the old owner, or you have to contact Google. But it can be a hard slog if the old owner doesn't cooperate in turning over the account. It's pretty hard. Google doesn't have. They're not putting in. None of these companies are putting in. I think they got too much business than people can actually handle. So most of these processes are automated that they use. So, and they're all computer companies, so they're trying to optimize everything anyways. So that's one of the problems you can have. The other thing is somebody managed a web developer managed it, or an ex-employee managed it, and they used their own personal account to create that listing, and now they're gone, and now you can't get into your listing to update it. That's another issue you can face. So again, the easiest way is to try to collaborate with them to get that account information. Otherwise, you got to work with Google in transferring that business over. So I have to look more into what you need to do on that. So it's per case. So those are some of the issues that people face on that. The other things is you can do it for other people as well. Or another thing is sometimes Google doesn't allow you to do it, or something has happened. You can go around the main business center and use another Google product called MapMaker. So if you create a new listing and there was no phone number existing, they'll make you take they'll say, we'll send a postcard to you. Okay, postcard takes a few weeks. Depends on where your mail is going. Often I'd work with businesses and they have a hard time getting their mail. So in that case, what we do is we use this thing called MapMaker, and you can create a business listing in MapMaker. Once it's up and running, then it puts it on Google Maps, and then you go back into the business center through this one and claim your listing using the postcard method. You can also do this for community points of interest, like the public beaches, or if you're trying to help someone. You can create if you're populating your community's amenities, like the different hotels or the businesses that are there, or the public services that are there. You can do it for them through this product called MapMaker. And it's pretty easy. You just go into MapMaker and you can either add a place, edit a place. You can add a road in there, or you can review edits by others. The way their process works is they got a community of super users that use it a lot, and those people review whatever edits you're making as a beginning user, and they give you feedback or they accept it. Whole countries, the whole map system of Google Map system of countries, for instance, Pakistan or some Eastern European countries, Botswana, for instance, in Africa, the whole map has been created by individual users just taking that satellite map that's existing and adding all the roads in there, and then slowly populating over time. And it only takes like a group of 10 dedicated individuals to do, and in small towns, 1 or 2 individuals to go and populate those points. So that would be like the sledding hill, for instance. And sometimes people want to hide those things. Hey, you know, we got a sledding hill, but I don't want anyone to know about it. But you know, that's something that creates an impression about your company to people who live there and to people who are visiting, that this is where all the things are. The museum, the cemetery, you know, things that people normally aren't managing you know, by themselves. Like you're managing your business, but there's those things, the school playground, that people aren't managing. This exists here, and you can use this service in this community. And that is that big part of destination image. The literature in destination image shows that people get an impression of a place before they even go there. And this is one of the things that contributes to that image. Other things are news. You know, sometimes if you're going to go to a town and you've heard there's a murder there or something, you're like, okay, I don't know if I want to go there. You know, if it's a small town or something like that. Natural, you know, any news items, any literature you see, like, you know, you see your billboards. You know, for instance, you know, you see visit Colorado, visit Wyoming. Those things make a huge impression. For instance, Colorado stopped putting up those billboards in 2005. They thought, oh, we don't need this. Everyone knows about Colorado. They're going to be coming anyways. Why should we spend our budget on marketing our state or our community? And all of a sudden, 2008, 2009, their visits start dropping. Montana, Wyoming started eating their lunch. And 3 years later, they had to revamp, you know, recreate a budget for that. Because that thing was out of people's mind. You know, when you're planning a visit somewhere, where do I need to go? And the same thing happens with your business. If people are searching, it might be something not related to your business or even somewhat related, and they see your business out there on the digital media, then they have in their mind that this business exists, it's there, these are the services it offers, and when they're doing a search or trying to find, your business will be subconsciously higher up if they had already seen it than if they hadn't seen it. So that's the whole point of marketing, is getting your business name and stuff out there regularly and in many different places. This is the other one, is Apple Maps. Now I talk about Apple Maps because, well, iPhone is by far the most popular smartphone out there. I went into the analytics and I was looking at those sites on what percentage was through Samsung phones and what percentage was through iPhones. And on these tourism sites, you know what the ratio was? It was 3 to 1. 3 to 1, 3 times more people were coming through an iPhone on those sites than they were coming through Samsungs. You know, and I think that is because more likely than not, people using a CVB site are going to be older than younger. So older people tend to have, the demographic the demographic shows the older you are, you're going to have an iPhone. And younger people tend to have Samsung and Androids. That's the trend. So in Apple Maps, same thing. So how many of you have iPhones? Oh, look at that! I just got it. So this is the Apple Map, similar product. I centered it on Stock Center, typed in restaurant, and you can type in whatever, and these are the ones that showed up. And there's more if I scroll on it, but look at what it says right here: reviews by Yelp. So Apple has a strong partnership with Yelp. So if you want your thing to come on this Apple Maps, you have to have your listing on Yelp. What happens if your business isn't on there and it's a related search term? What does that mean? What are the consequences? You're not found. You're invisible. Might as well not. For instance, Painesville. They were building that Highway 23. Okay, and it was going to go around them, and they knew it was going to go around them. So they had to do, before that bypass was developed, what they were supposed to do is, reorient their signs that are on the businesses to show people that they're still there. They kind of ignored it. This is a project I was trying to work with them on. Said, no, we got more important things to do. All of a sudden, it's built, and I noticed it was built because I went right past. I had to go to Painesville, and I went right past, and I was almost at Wilmer. I was like, where the heck is Painesville? So I had to go on my map and turn around and come back. And I got there, and we were doing a session on this class. They're like, well, this thing is built, and now nobody sees our businesses anymore. I'm like, well, until you get new signage up, this is the thing. People are already relying on it, but you have to really focus yourselves and get your business listings on these search engines. And part of this is SEO as well. So I could have typed in cafe, I could have typed in coffee, I could have typed in burger and fries. I know not everyone's typing in restaurant. So you have to see, what your business is, your listing, that it's your listing or your web page or all your internet stuff shows the major and even minor products that you're offering. It's not just by restaurant, it's not just by cafe, or it could be coffee. Same thing with a hotel. It could be hotel, lodging, could be an inn, accommodation, something like that. It could be bed and breakfast. So you have to see what the services you offer and get those keywords out there on those business listings and on your web page. So in here again, I'm going to go to Jitters Cafe because that's every time in Sauk Center I can't help but to go to Jitters Cafe for some reason. So if we go here to Jitters Cafe, again, it shows a little bit more information than we had on Google Maps. For instance, it has the website there. Here's another important thing. This is something when you manage your listing, this is something you put in there. You put in your business hours. So then they'll tell you if it's open or not. And it really helps people make a decision, of if they're going to go to your business or not. So you can put how expensive it is, whether you offer delivery, reservations, if you're kid friendly. All those things you can manage on Yelp through their business center. And the main thing that people are looking at here is reviews. Not only that you're open, well, is this a good place? So if the other businesses, so for an instance here, you got 8 reviews, 11 reviews, 10 reviews. These businesses with the 10 and 11, they're going to do better than the ones with 1 review. Except for, Hardee's, everyone knows about Hardee's, and you go there out of desperation anyways. Nothing against Hardee's. But and this is relative. So if this was, let's say, a more urban environment, this would be in the hundreds. And in that environment, if you're in 10 or 11, all of a sudden your business is going to be, this is not popular. Even if it's 5 stars, it only has 10 reviews. So if you're opening a new business or you have an existing business, a very savvy way is ask people to review you on Google or Yelp or whatever you think, whichever product you prefer. But the higher this count, the more it helps in your advertising. If, for instance, if this was 30 and the rest were 10, 11 like this, all of a sudden, even if it was 4 stars or less stars than Jitters, that would tickles people's fancy that, hey, this is where people are going. This is a popular place. And it might not be reflected in the parking lot. There might not be a full parking lot, but if the owner of this restaurant, actively solicited reviews on Yelp, that would really help their case for search engine optimization being found online, because Google tweaks its algorithm to find sites that are more visited. That's one of the things that go in there. And what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. So, actively soliciting for those, it's a good thing. Having your employees write those reviews, that's not a good thing. If you're having your employees write it, or your children, they catch on, people report it, something happens, and boom, you get blacklisted, and they might even take your listing out. They have you have no really right to be there. You can't say it's my right to be on here. That's a business discretion. So if they want to take it out, they can take it out. So those are some of the things that can happen. And don't stress over the individual one-off negative reviews. The other thing having these accounts helps is if you get a review, you can go engage in that review. If someone was there at your business and let's say they weren't there and they wrote a fraudulent review, you can go and counter that if you've claimed your listing. You can go and say, sorry, you had a bad stay here. We'll try to make it better next time, explain it. And you can read, if you go and read some of these companies on how they communicate, with customers, sometimes a very well worded response, for instance, the number one person on Yelp is a locksmith, or this was a couple of years ago. It was a locksmith. This was in New Jersey, and he said, he was interviewed. He said, "What makes me number one is not because I pick or fix the lock the first time. I'm number one because when I mess up, I make sure to fix what I messed up." And that's what elicits people to really write a review that, hey, this guy really went out of my way. This business really went out of its way to set it straight. So again, business savvy, your product, your customer service comes in, and it'll all be reflected in here. And you can enhance that by actively seeking people to, asking them, hey, review us you liked our product? Please review us on Yelp. How do you get on Yelp? biz.yelp.com. So everyone has these business centers, and I have it at the end of this, which I'll email you again. And when you get on Yelp, it helps you get on Apple Maps, because Apple has a partnership with Yelp. Apple just started its own business center as well, which you can go into as well. I think I don't have the link to that, but I'll send it off. But just getting on Yelp, you can get on there. There's controversies around Yelp. People say Yelp pushes them. Have you guys heard of some of these? That they get calls from Yelp asking them to have a premium listing, or other things, some impropriety in the business. But again, it's being featured in one of the main location-based service products out there. So there's some good with some bad with the good. And here's some of the things you can do once you claim your account. You can respond to reviews. You can measure visitor activity, the analytics. And of course, you can convert visitors into customers, as in people who are just looking at your page. So other ones that we talked about, you can go to MapQuest, and it's kind of hard to get to, but it's mapquest.com. It's pretty long. But once you get this, once you receive a copy, you can click on it. Bing Places, Yahoo Maps is, I think it's converting to Here Maps now. So they're using another technology called Here Maps, developed by Nokia. So it's called mapcreator.here.com. And of course, TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor, if you have any semblance of a tourism economy in your town, or if you have hotels in your town, then your business should be on TripAdvisor. And especially if you provide food, service, lodging, massage, the activities, those are the things, or even auto repair. It's just someone's driving in here, the car breaks down or something like that, they can find you on TripAdvisor. This is one of the major search engines that visitors are using. Too much stuff, right? You got too many. If you don't want to do it, here you can go to moz.com/local and fill it out, and they'll put you in all of these ones. They'll just do it. You got to pay a little bit of money. It's not too much. They'll put you on Google Plus, which is almost defunct now. Foursquare. You'll even go there and they'll show you what your site looks like. How much relevance your site has on all these engines. Facebook, and I don't even know what some of these signs are. Yellow Pages, Bing. They'll just do it for you. But I really encourage people to focus on, if depending on your manpower or woman power, focus on at least one of these. Focus on one aspect. Focus on Google or on Yelp. If you don't have enough time, maybe use a service. Well, you can claim your listing, put up the pictures. You can take a video, put it on YouTube, and put the YouTube link on there. It's really easy to do. You can hire an intern to do it, pay your kids to do it, make it a project. Yeah. And it pays to do it well. The media part, the video or the pictures, it really pays to do it well, rather than put an out of focus picture of your front in there. Or you have the sun in the background and you go outside, okay, I'm gonna put the picture up. And you go outside, you take the picture, the sun is in the background, and all you get is a black silhouette of your business. No, to wait till you get the right lighting and make your business look good. You can go around, take pictures of the interior. Another thing you can do, I'll show you in just a second. Again, destination image. Let me skip that real quick. You can use this thing called 360 Photos. It's a Google product. You download it on your Android or iPhone, and you can basically use it to create a 360 photo that people can navigate. You can show your lobby. All it does is you open up the app, and it tells you follow the red dot, and you click, 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 and all of a sudden you have a whole 360 that you can upload to Photosphere, which is part of the product, and put the link on your site. Or you can, if you're more savvy, you can take the image and embed it on your site, and all of a sudden people can navigate this whole 360. It's totally interactive. Yeah, virtual tour of your business there, and it's free. You're not paying for that. So you can experiment with that. You can encourage your other business people to experiment that as well. Another thing that really, I've been talking about destination image. You know, when you go to a town, you know, this is a very big important part of it, on what that town looks like on the search engine they're using. So sometimes I'll go to a town, you know, before I go there, I'll look at Thief River Falls, for instance. And if you just type it in, you can look at the photos. And if you click on photos, it'll show you some photos. It'll show you some photos right here or right down here. Guess how those photos got there? It's people, you know, uploading the pictures and tagging it, or putting the file name of your town on those pictures. So you can do that as well. If you're taking pictures of your town, you can go on there and upload them to, well, where would you upload them? You can upload them to your Google Plus account, for instance, and it will show up on things like that. Same thing with Facebook. If you're marketing your business or town with Facebook or any other social media, you can put it on here. And some of the Google Maps images that you will be putting on there, it'll show up on this as well. And that really shows people what's here besides your restaurant, besides your hotel, besides your massage parlor. What else is here? What else can I do here? Not even just for visitors, but for the people who are living there. And they can go through these photos, and it gives them a positive appearance of your business. So this handout, what I'm going to do is get the class sheet from Allison here and email you the whole handout, which gives you a whole bunch of other information about using mobile marketing and links to some of the other tools that are out there. And you can explore this further if you like. And to get this, you'll have to take a short 5-minute evaluation, but I'll email it out to all you guys. So, other questions about this? How many of you feel overwhelmed? Be honest. Okay, yeah, be honest, yeah. How many of you, what's the next action some of you are going to take? Is there some next action some of you are going to take?
Check some of the pages I didn't know about.
Like what?
I didn't know Bing would have like good business things. All I did was the Google part of it, mostly.
Right. So he's going to do Bing here. Check out Bing. Who else?
I had many dookies on Apple, and I double check my listings on Bing and Google as well.
Okay. And what's your business, sir?
Alternative senior care.
Okay, awesome. All right, what else? Who else is going to do something? What are you going to do?
I'm actually gonna get a listing.
All right. And what's your business?
I'm with
Mary
Mary Kay.
Kay, cool.
What can you tell me about e-gumball?
E-gumball? Nothing, maybe. What is it?
Well, it's supposed to be something that helps you get listed in all kinds of places.
Yeah, there's a number of those, like that Moz one I showed you, the Moz.local. They'll put up, but it's impersonal when you have another service do it for you. Just like if you, for instance, if you're a small business and you have another company manage your social media, I mean, how are they going to do that? How are they going to interact with customers without really, knowing your business? They don't know your customers. They don't know all the products you offer. They might monitor it and let you know this person is complaining on social media about you. But if you don't have that personal attention, same thing with these companies that'll put up all your information on there. You can put up, really good stuff about your business. The products that you do, the before and afters. The point of this is trying to make yourself set apart from the crowd. And if you're relying on someone else to do it, if they're that good, then go with them if they can set you apart from the crowd. But if it's not, that's the value, the cost to value ratio. Is that service provider going to do it better than you can? And if you don't have no time to do it, or you feel too intimidated, then definitely go with something like that. But it's someone that you should be able to have a personal relationship with. I mentioned those CVBs at the beginning because we went through a 3-4 month course on all of these things, very in depth. And one of the main outcomes that they had was they were able to talk to their web developers intelligently now. They didn't talk to them before, and they would get reports on their analytics. It wouldn't mean nothing. They weren't able to tell them, well, this is what I think is important on our website, and then this is how it should be. They relied too much on the web developer for their website. But that's one of your main marketing tools that's out there. And just like if you have a flyer made, you want your fingers on it. You want to be able to, if your fingers aren't as good and the person can do it much better, again, use them. But as a business owner or manager, you have the highest stakes in the game in all of this. Other comments or questions? Go ahead.
Where do you find those fancy buttons like that Brainerd had Little Dead and all the different buttons on their webpage? Where do you find those?
Oh, the buttons.
Yeah.
You can actually purchase them. There's you can Google button. What would be the term? How would you Google that? Those buttons on the website? Yeah, widgets, button widgets, or button icons. You can do search for button icons, and there's collections of those that you can actually buy. Or a lot of times even the web development product has those widgets. They have generic ones. Some are pretty cool, but if you want something very customized, you can use go to something like, have you heard of Fiverr.com? Fiverr, Fiverr.com, 2 R's. And it's basically you can pay people are on there, graphic artists, a lot of things. You can pay them like $5 for a small task. So like creating an icon for your business. It wouldn't be $5 for the whole web page, but so if you want something more there's all kinds of tools. It's amazing how much you can find now right online to have stuff done for you. It's very easy. Like how many of you used Uber? You know what Uber is? The taxi. So you've used Uber, right? Where did you use Uber?
In Texas.
In Texas. Okay. How did you use it? What was your experience? Okay. So I'll tell my experience. Or my experience was we went hiking. I was in California this weekend, and we went hiking from my friend's house. He had this canyon trail that ended up in Laguna Beach. We said, okay, let's just walk it. So we walked 2-3 miles there. We ate in town, and we didn't have our car. He just went on his phone, got on the Uber app, and it would show everyone who had subscribed, any Uber driver, you could see where they were. Not where they were, but you could see what the going rate was. It was half as much as a taxi. You call it, he was there in 3 minutes, and they took us back. Very good service. It was a brand new Toyota Avalon.
They're regulated for the taxis, actually.
Oh, yeah?
They're safer.
Mm-hmm.
And half the price. You rate them, the customers review them.
Mm-hmm.
And they rate you.
Yeah, they rate the customers. Yeah, the guy was telling us that it was his first day driving, and he said, or the first weekend driving, and he said, I already got some weirdos. Like, you got a call at midnight, and it was these teens coming out of this park at like midnight with an oxygen tank, a big oxygen tank. And they said, it's leaking, so we need to put it in the trunk. He's like, I don't think so. So, you got all these things are evolving into online. So this is something, if you look at it creatively with your businesses, it can do a lot of stuff. And you can look at what's going on in the Bay Area or the East Coast or the urban centers, and that's what's going to ripple through, greater Minnesota. It's about a year or two behind usually. That's my experience. So it's 1 o'clock. If you don't have any other things, thank you for your time and attention.